Okay, the video on the right shows an over-the-top move and how we can actually make an over-the-top move work in a golf swing. The video on the left is going to show how we would actually fix an over-the-top move. Over-the-top refers to the swing path, which is one of the three mechanical laws in the golf swing. From a square setup position, an over-the-topper is invariably going to set up to the right of the target. In other words, they're going to figure out, since the swing path is going to the left, they're going to have to compensate for that by aiming more to the right. And what happens in an over-the-top move is we'll take it back to the inside of our target line, and then we'll come right over the top of it, as I'm demonstrating right there. See, there's an over-the-top movement that gets the swing path working to the left of the target. When this is the case, we cannot release the club with our arms and hands. If we do, we're going to hit a pull hook that goes off the mat. So what an over-the-topper can do to actually make that movement work is just come less over the top. It's still an over-the-top move, but as we bring the club down through the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock impact zone, we'll have that club working down the target line a little bit better. So here you can see I'm taking it back very much inside, which an over-the-topper tends to do, and then I'll come over the top of it and swing the club back down the target line. In this case, it's the release board. But you can see here the over-the-top move is still present. Inside and over we go. Inside and over we go, but not quite as much. And then what becomes absolutely necessary is that we get the board releasing, or get the club releasing down the target line, so that when we get to and through the ball, we've got that club releasing right down the target line. So this is a case where the over-the-top move can actually work by setting up to the right of the target, continuing to come inside and over the top. It's just that we can't come over the top too much. If we do, that's considered breaking the law, and we cannot release the club effectively. But here's an over-the-top movement that will actually work for an over-the-topper. Inside and over, and then swing the club down the target line. You have to feel those arms release, though, in this case. So that's actually a mechanically sound position through the 9 o'clock, mechanically sound movements actually through the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock impact zone, having come over the top of it. So that's a swing that will in fact work if we're an over-the-topper. We have to understand that the club needs to be released as we come through. So we can go ahead and set up to the right of the target, take it back inside, come right over the top of it, and swing right down the target line. Go ahead and release our arms and release our body through the swing. Okay, now if we're going to effectively fix the over-the-top movement, what then we would do is, from a square setup position, we'd go ahead and open up a little more, which is pretty scary for an over-the-topper, because the over-the-topper's concerned about hitting the ball, has a problem with swinging the club path to the left in the first place. But in order to fix the over-the-top movement, we'd go ahead and open up our body lines to the target, and then sense that we're bringing the club back more up, and have that club work through the transition, through the go move at the top, drop back down to the inside, in which case now, from an open position, we're working that club again right down the target line, just as we would from the over-the-top position here on the right. We've got the club releasing through down the target line. So in both cases, we're complying with the law of swing path and release, having that club work down the target line from two different positions, actually. One being an over-the-top move that will work, and the other being how we would fix an over-the-top movement. In other words, to fix it, we want to sense that we're more opened up to the target, and that we're actually working the club back more vertically, as opposed to bringing the club back more to the inside, as an over-the-topper will. Inside. Instead of going back inside, we'll go more vertical and actually set the club in the plane of the swing nicely. And then instead of having that over-the-top move, we'll actually feel ourselves dropping the club under. So we get this dropping sensation where we're dropping the club back under instead of over, as we're demonstrating here on the right. So over the top is a difficult move to kind of deal with, and it's nice to go ahead and fix it. But as you can see by this demonstration here, we can in fact make an over the top move work. But in order to correct the over the top move, we have to correctly and sufficiently make the move that we're making over here on the left hand video. So it's a little more vertical. Reroute the club back under, and then down here through the 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock impact zone, which is law, we have to feel the club releasing with our arms. So the over the top move can work. We can make that move work. There's some compensations involved, but in either case, what we need to know is that through that 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock impact zone, again, we're getting the club to release effectively down the target line. Okay, explore these thoughts and feelings. This is very effectively done again with the release board here, just understanding where we want the club working during the swing. Whether we are setting up from a closed position like I'm doing on the right, or setting up from a more open position as I'm demonstrating on the left. In either case, that swing path has to be in conforming. It has to be in good shape as we make our movements through that 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock impact zone, which is about waist high. In either case, we've got the same thing happening, whether we've come over the top of it or whether we've worked the club on a better plane throughout the swing. In either case, down through that 9 to 3 impact zone, the same things need to be happening, as I'm demonstrating right here. Okay, let's continue understanding what good swing mechanics are all about, and continuing to correctly and sufficiently do good work so that we can get fluid with this.